You're in an argument. You have the facts, you've explained them clearly, but people who you're arguing with, they become more convinced that they are right. Why is this happening? Well, that's because persuasion doesn't work the way most of us think. We assume that persuasion works like this. You're laying out the logic, you're explaining facts one by one, and then if the person is wise enough, they will change their opinion. And unfortunately, most of the time, that doesn't work at all. And in the next 10 minutes, I will try to explain what science tells us about persuasion, what works and what's not, and how you can use it to actually have a better, more meaningful, more efficient conversations. I'm Greg, co-founder of Bismart Communication Studio, and for 10 years, I've been helping teams and leaders get better with persuasion and have more efficient arguments. But I've been this person myself. I've competed in a debate professionally. And you might know that debaters are not the best people to talk to. I was confident that my logic is very strong. Whenever I make an argument, I think it through and I can explain it step by step to the person so they can see why I am right and they're not. But I usually found myself destroying the conversation, having fights with friends sometimes, and barely making any difference in their opinions. So that's when I learned that probably tactics that I used are not very efficient. So I've started digging and found out some interesting facts that most of them kind of counterintuitive, but all of them will help us to better understand how to persuade people. So you believe facts and logic should win, right? And if the evidence is clear, people will listen. Well, science says it actually doesn't work like that. And facts can actually backfire in an argument. Some studies show that during a political fact-checking, when you correct a statement that is known to be false, you're actually making the person who are making the statement more hostile towards fact-checker. So seeing this fact being checked, people don't change their opinion. They start preparing their defenses, becoming more hostile, more emotionally involved, and they start to hold to their position. Why this is happening, you might ask? Well, because facts don't lay on neutral ground. They lay on our opinions. And our opinions usually become parts of our identities. So when you are telling the person that some fact that they believe is true is not true, in fact, this doesn't mean you are asking them to change just one small opinion. You're actually attacking and questioning a part of their identity, and you can imagine that they're not very happy to change it. Because if you're questioning the part of their identity, you're also questioning all the life choices, all the beliefs they have connected to this part of their identity. This environment does not sound very friendly and safe. And in this environment, people would not like to listen to you and rethink something with you. So piling up facts doesn't open the conversation. It just closes it. All right then. But maybe the problem is in the audience. Maybe they're just not smart enough to understand me. And if they were smarter, they would see my reasoning. Well, it's probably not true as well. If you're watching this channel, if you're asking those questions about persuasion and communication, this probably qualifies you as quite smart or at least educated person, which means that you are probably more vulnerable to this next trap. Here's the irony. Study shows that smart people are actually harder to persuade. Dan Kahn from Yale made a big research on political polarization, and he found out that people with higher math and science scores are actually more polarized than everybody else. Why? This is probably because people who are more educated or might be smarter, they have more instruments to actually protect and defend their position, and this helps them to build higher walls around their opinions. So being smart doesn't mean being easier to persuade or being more open to other opinions. This actually means the opposite. Now all those people on the internet look smart suddenly, right? Okay, So maybe to persuade, you need to win the argument. You need to outlogic them, outsmart them, make a great comeback, and then destroy their defenses. Well, this is how the debate works, right? And during the debate, it actually works. But this is because you are not debating and trying to convince your opponent. You are debating and trying to convince the audience that looking at you. So in that case, of course, you will be trying to outsmart the person, to catch all their mistakes, to highlight where they are wrong. But most of the time, you are not a situation like this in the real life. You don't have the audience, you don't have the voters, you just have a person across the table that you are trying to convince. And if you are trying to win over them, this would probably not end up well. They would probably feel that. They would probably do their best not to lose because nobody likes to lose. And even if you will win, even if they say, yes, I agree in the end of the conversation, what will happen the second you step out of this room? They will go back immediately to their original opinion. So now you probably realize that when people feel beaten, they get defensive, and you don't want to get that. And persuasion isn't about winning. It's not even about proving anything. It's about helping people to rethink what they believe is true together with you. And now, if facts don't work for that, if logic doesn't work for that, what will help you to do that? Here are 3 simple techniques you might use to become a better communicator that actually can persuade people. First, be a scientist, not a prosecutor. Next time you're in an argument, try opening with this. I might be wrong about this. Help me to understand what I am missing. This one sentence can change everything. Suddenly, from rivals, you become researchers, and you do it together. So people start to walk this path of rethinking. Second, create safety first and everything else second. Because until people feel safe in the conversation, they will never change their opinions. You can try creating this safety with phrases like, help me understand your opinion, tell me more about what you think, etc. And then actually listen to their answer. Because here, just a phrase will not change everything, but listening to the answer they're giving you and caring about what they're saying will help you to actually be closer to this person and will make them feel safer, which means they would be ready to rethink something with you. And third, match their frame. If they're saying they're frustrated, recognize that they're frustrated, not anxious, not irritated, frustrated, in the same words. And using the same words and same phrases as they do actually helps to establish a subconscious connection that builds trust in the conversation and once again helps them to rethink something with you. So now you know that persuasion doesn't work exactly the way we used to think about it. And of course, you can learn so much more about this topic, and what I've just told you is just the beginning. And so the next time you're getting in this argument or hard conversation at a dinner table or in the office, start with asking yourself, am I trying to win this, or am I trying to actually rethink the ideas together? And if you find this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I'm sharing new science-based communication tips every week. I hope your next argument would actually be a good experience, and see you next time.